Hello, Maria, and good morning. Um, Thank you for coming. I don't know, can you actually see Maria? Because as you can see, I'm trying to read the chat here, but it seems that my phone doesn't want to sort of come with a picture. It's like it doesn't want to. I can't see the chat, Maria. Just a minute. Okay, I'm here. Oh, yes, it is, Maria. Now I got the chat here. It is actually new life for an old fleece blanket. As you can see, I have a very worn out old. I have washed and it look sad. So what I'm actually doing, I'll show you. Um, it's what I do is I take scraps, different scraps, as you can see here. And what I'm actually doing is I simply make it into a scrap applique sort of thing where I simply do that. As you can see, I simply add little scraps like this. I have here a lot of tiny bits and pieces. I got a square, a triangle, and then I'm sort of just put it on like this. I think I need a corner. It doesn't fit here. I can put it in that direction like this. And then I simply, just stitched it. First, I secure it with pins like this. Yeah, it is sort of kind a lot of work to it, but I really like the to sit with something like that, and you just sit and relax and listen to audiobooks. Then I pin this on, and this is not something you sort of make in a day or a couple of hours. You spend about it can take a whole year. Um, but sometimes when I have a lot of scraps that I think I like to sort of recycle or reuse, because I am not fan about I mean get rid of it, and especially if it's a nice big piece as this one is. um then I simply sit down. Sometimes you don't know what to sew, but sometimes I just like to sit and hand sew. So what I'm doing is, and once in a while, I take one of these and make a scrap buster like this. As you can see, I have this one, and it actually doesn't matter if they're sort of going over each other like this, but I don't think I want that one here, and I have a long piece like this. Um, Sometimes, it's like just for me, it is sort of kind of a fun, if you can say that, to get something very pretty out of something that actually just is, yeah, waste. Normally, these would be thrown in the garbage bin, but I don't do that, or I will cut it into even smaller shredded pieces and use it as filling. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is a big, and of course you can actually do it in smaller pieces if you want. Um, so it is a kind of, yeah, trust to treasure. Um, it really is a project. Um, because normally, as you can see, you have a scrap like this, and what to deal with it. As you can see, I simply just put them on like this. Um, then I simply do that. I am started here. I have some small piece here. And sometimes, when you have these amazing tiny scraps that are in such amazing fabric, you really don't want to sort of get rid of them, but you keep, because they're pretty, they're shiny, they're everything you need to it. And then long time ago, this is also called patchwork or crazy quilting. And I have seen people, you can also make them. um oh, you have bags full of them. Wow. I love scraps, Maria. I really enjoy it because it gives you so much fun. Um, and you can spend a lot of time, and yeah, you have to get busy. But as I tell you, Maria, you don't have to do as I do. I just simply took the entire fleece blanket and started up and covered it as a whole. You can also sort of cut it out in blocks like this if you have in smaller blocks, and start up with one block at the time. And then you can sort of make embroidery, and then you can. Oh, really? Oh, I would love to have a mom like that, Maria. Oh my goodness. I would. Oh. Uh, and I bet there is a lot of absolutely gorgeous scraps between. Yeah, I have stretchy material here. This is stretchy, this is cotton, silk. A lot of this are actually stretchy material because when you are sort of stitching it down, it doesn't stretch out and this is also a very stretchy, and this one, um and as you can see, I have made it like this. You can also make embroidery stitches, and I used a similar color for this one, but you can do that. You can, if you have a lot of you know scraps of threads, you sometimes you have bobbins with a small amount of a color you don't need anymore, and it's too much to waste. So you simply use up all your different color of thread to it. Oh, please do. I would love that. Yeah, this is also from an old swimsuit. Yeah. Um, Maria, this one here, as you can see, this is actually a swimsuit material. This one, you can easily do that, and you know what? There's more hold to it when you do it this way. Yeah, I mean, this is magnificent. See, I forgot something. I use a single thread because, as you can see, I got this from an old factory. This is a very heavy duty thread. You use it for denim on furniture and leather. So I was like, I got them very, very cheap. Um, So, and as you can see, what I'm actually doing is and then I made this leather thimble, as you call it, um, because I don't have one. I don't like these metal things. Yeah, I mean, you can mix any weight of fabric. You can take this as a very heavy brocade satin brocade, very heavy, and this is a very, very lightweight, transparent mermaid tail material, and this is curtain, and I have some, you know, we call it stretch velour or velvet. This is from an old bed sheet, and I have some flannel to it. And this is from an old t-shirt. And this is also very, very stretchy from swimsuit or very stretching. I have, as you can see, a piece of lace curtain, and you can use any kind and mix, and when it is done, Maria, you what you are actually doing, and people say, okay, what will happen when you wash it? And I say you wash it after the weakest material. So if you have pure silk or something wool can be used, you wash it from the lightest material. So you wash it on a fine wash, wool wash. That means, hello, my dear Tita. Welcome. Oh, it's so good to see you, Tita. As you can see, I am showing off a little of my new stitching project. Um, and as you can see, I simply just running stitches. Um, and you can just make sure that you are going through both layers. Yeah, it has been a long time. So and I simply just stitch around here. I hope you can actually see what I'm doing here. Okay, you do that. It is morning for you girls. I know. You better do that. Thank you for joining in. Also, you, Kathleen. My phone has been acting weird, but I promise I will call you. I just put myself Tita on Instagram. So I have actually made an Instagram. Um, so I can post some of my creations and my projects onto it. Yeah, thank you. And Chopper has also been out. So I did plan to call you later on, not very early in the morning. It is sometimes, the internet here is bad, and I do it on my Wi-Fi. I can put my phone on Wi-Fi. That makes it cheaper and actually better when you call on Messenger. Um, oh wow, that is so cool! Congratulations! So, yeah, yeah. Chaba say hey. He's sleeping. I'll say hey for him. That's why he has been out all night. Um, he has actually been out 3 nights in a row, so he was very exhausted when he came home very, very early. Um, so that's why he's sleeping in the other room. So that's why we are sitting here. Um, oh, she's in Texas visiting. That is great. I haven't seen any of my old classmates, and honestly, I'm not even sure I really want to meet them again. I got bullied a lot, and they were not particularly sweet with me, so I don't have a good experience when I went to school. Um, so I'm not even sure. I was invited. Yeah, he need to slow down. And it is winter time and it is pouring down. It is really, really raining now. I can really hear he was so wet when he came home. So, oh, I am so glad to hear that, Kathleen. I am so happy to hear because I think it is a good idea. It is so heartwarming to see when people stay together and stay tuned for life. Also, you can see the road that different people goes when you have close friends all these years. I have a few of them, but Yeah, for his health, absolutely. It is pouring down right now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you see that little video I made with Luna? She sneaked in here to, yeah, she played hide and seek with Fiona. Yeah, and she didn't even, she did discover it, but she didn't hiss at her, so it went very quiet. And so, oh yeah, I know it is very, very dry where you are. Yeah, and some of the, I heard there's areas in Texas now that is so over flooded. Yeah, exactly. All you could see, I see was a tail. So she was really playing hide and seek. Ah, she sort of, she hid herself underneath, but she forgot to hide her tail. It was so funny. That's why I you know what? Oh yeah, oh yeah, draft conditions. It is. So can you actually see what I'm making here? I just thought, I would just come on a little bit and show off my new how I do my new project here. I was so unfortunately I actually did a 5 blocks quilted on my memory lane quilt yesterday. It was very, very, very cold and rainy. And I sort of told myself, you know what, I don't want to do anything that just try to stay warm. Also because they are not turning on heat until 1st of October. So we can't put heat on. Oh, I am also so excited to come. And I told her that I am going to make that hat out of a little derby hat out of cardboard box. I promised to show her how I made my little derby hat. So when I'm actually, yeah, exactly. I told her I have saved it for when I am on her channel. So I'll do it together with her. And what I'm going to do is I'll see if I can get her uh, on the computer when she invite me. Then I'll keep the chat on the phone because I also have Nana's channel on my phone. Uh, Kathleen, are you buffering? Because my phone is buffering right now. Can you see me? So I have already sort of found the materials I want to put in. I want to use on that hat made out of a cardboard seal box. So I just need to find the time and make space for it, because I think I'll do it in here. And okay, yeah, I can see a little circle going round and round, but I can see you. As long as you can see me. It is so funny. I mean, with YouTube, I never knew how many supporters I got, because it keep changing. I keep, getting lower. And but I think YouTube is sometimes cleaning out channels, so you can also risk that YouTube just remove some of your supporters without the knowledge. If a person hasn't sort of visit the channel, YouTube can actually, just remove it. I didn't know that, but you have to be aware that they can just sort of, okay, she doesn't follow that one, and they simply just remove it. Um, but that's okay. But I did this morning. I put Instagram on my phone so I can sort of post my pictures on Instagram, because I don't use Facebook that much anymore. Um, I am really, really tired of Facebook, and the way people are treating each other on Facebook. Oh, wow, Maria. That means that is 100 people has seen your videos, Kathleen. That is actually twice as much that people see mine. So it seems you are more popular than I am, Kathleen. Tita. Oh, you fainted. Oh my God. I am subscribed to you, Maria. I know it. I am a faithful subscriber to you, Maria. Yeah, I mean, you're like, what? Yeah, but no matter what, I won't stop putting my crafting little chats and show what I'm doing. And even if I do this on my few faithful ones, and I'm just showing what I do with, I mean, pressure, as we talked about, Maria. You know, instead of throwing it out, just, do something up with it. Yeah, it's a real, yeah, they sometimes do that. Um, so you are, wow, no. They don't want me because this morning. Oh, thank you, Maria. Yeah. So it's like I like to use up all my scraps and bits and pieces, and just sit and do some audiobooks, listening and listen to the rain. It is raining. Yeah. So, and I hope I can inspire people, to use up their scraps and, little bits and pieces what they have lying around, and just don't, and I want to say something. It looked like a very big project, and please, yeah, exactly, Kathleen. That's what it actually is. I'm doing. It's like, if you don't do this in 2 days or 2 hours, and it's a quiet project. This is not as hard, so I can do it without. It's more the memory lane that demands a simple. But it's like you can take. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you can do that. Maria, do yeah, you can make it in, for a book cover, a journal cover. That could be so lovely. Yeah, and you can cut the scraps a little smaller, but you can start in the small. As I also told you, you can start by cutting out 20 times 20 inches squares, and just um stitch stitch them on as embellishment, and sort of applique, and then you can make three, four, five, or six, and suddenly, before you know it, you actually have, for a blanket, like a quilt size. And when you do it on something that is, have a background, you can just put a backside. I can show you how you can put it together. I call it quilt as you go. um and that means when you take one block at the time and you quilt it, and I can show you how to sort of put them together. Basically, also because then you don't have to have that big quilt, as I have my king size memory lane here. This is my quilt size memory. You have seen it. um I quilt 4 blocks yesterday. I am so happy. um so I would love to see that, because it's, so you don't have to sort of sit down and quilt a big quilt. You can do it as you go, a little at the time. So, but I am also a fabric. I have actually never tried to a fabric scrap roll. I can try. You have given me a challenge. Yeah, oh, you do that. Have a great day, Maria. And thank you for coming by. I look forward to see. I'll check your channel. Have a great day and a blessed one. And please stay safe and be careful. And Kathleen, you just gave me a challenge. Yes. Okay, a fabric roll. Fabric roll. Yep. You know what? That is my challenge. Yes. And if somebody noticed, I am twisting it a little bit to makes it a little more interesting because so it doesn't go, so there's a little pattern to it to give it some structure. And if it will shrink a little bit where you quilt it, but don't worry, it will shrink the same, so it might seem wider here when you start, but then you just smooth it out, put it on, and as soon as you start to stitch it, it will sort of shrink a little bit in, so it's getting more firm. As you can see, it's and it gets this beautiful pattern to it, and I really like it. As you can see, around here, and this goes that way. So I like it to not the same. So it look striped, but it's the what you can sort of do. And as you can see, it showed this has friends. This is actually an old, very cheap polar fleece blanket from IKEA. And I can remember I gave 50 krona for it. Um, less than $3. This brand here, and I had it for a couple of years. As you can actually see, the size is also in inches onto it. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Yeah. I for a minute believed I have lost my needle, but it's here. And I got my coffee here. So yeah, it's going to thank you, Tita. Yeah, it is going to be very beautiful. I mean, I like the idea of, putting a lot of scraps on and just stitching. You can also do it on a machine if you prefer that. You can also, make it, I don't know, cross stitches or something, but I think there's something rustic and beautiful about just ordinary. I mean, running stitches. It doesn't require. I mean, a lot of sewing. It's just very simple sewing. Um, so you don't have to be an professional seamstress to do it. I mean, it's like so easy, so grateful, thankful because you can use any sort of scraps to it, no matter what material. Good morning. Oh, good morning, Tris. Welcome. Oh, I'm sad to hear that. Hope you're doing better. And God bless. I hope it's better. You're feeling better. Oh, we have been missing you too, Tris. It is so wonderful to see you. I am so glad you can actually see me, even if we have that bit of circle that is sort of keep. Oh, you have a way to go. I am sending you blessings, prayers, my friend, for speedy recovery. I am trying to hold it so you can actually see. Yeah, look who's here, Tita. We have been missing her. So blessed to see her. Yeah, it is really a blessing. Good to see you, Tris. And you know what, Tris? Sometimes you really need also to take care of you. Oh, thank you. So, and as you can see, I'm simply just doing some running stitches like this. And I go round. I have seen, you know, yeah, we are going to send prayers for you where you do it in one direction, but I really don't like that it is striped, if you understand what I mean. I like the structure that you simply change direction of it and try to sort of also avoid that when you stitch them, you sort of switch so it doesn't, follow like here, but it's okay. It can also look nice. You do what you do and do how make it try out. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that. And you have been taking care of you and relaxed. And sometimes it does require that you need to sort of take care of your own mental health too. And I'm glad you did. So as you can see, I feel this is very relaxing, very easy. And you know what? You don't have to be pitied about the stitches. It doesn't matter if they're not the same length, as long as they're not too long, but it's not like you have to sit and make 200 tiny stitches, but just run it like this. And it is actually what gives this wonderful ruffled surface to it. And what you can also do for decoration, I'll show you if I have it. Then I need to stand up a little bit. Whoops. I'll stand up because I need to fix something behind me here. This is also what I use my scraps for. I make these. These are made by this circle, and as you can see, I made a lot of these. You can also make them. As you can see, what I am collecting here is this is also going to be one of my projects where these are going to be stitched together like this. Or you can, as you can see, I have made them of, this is organza, this is, oh, that's the piece I got left here. Um, this has been, what have been inside. I love you. Yeah, yo-yos. And what you can also do is if you have like this, you can actually place some of these yo-yos. What do you call it? Yo-yos? Yo-yos. Okay, that's the English word for it. We call it rosettes. Rosettes. Like round rosettes. In Denmark, the Danish name is rosettes. But yo-yos, okay, I'll see if I can remember. So, but what you can actually do if you have these yo-yos in different colors, you can actually, when you're done with it, you can actually place them strategically, sort of anywhere as decorations like this. In if you have an ugly, you're not particularly happy with some corners, you cover it up with one of these like this. You can do that. I like to put a little bead in the middle here. Yeah, and as you can see, whenever I have a tiny bit, I sort of make these. um I have them in different colors here. So you just find some that match, or you can collect them and make. I have actually seen a quilt. Yeah, we love you too, Tris. As you can see, you can also make these into a quilt. I have seen a king size quilt made only by this size, where they sort of stick them together in flowers like this. I mean, it was amazing. But thank you, Kathleen. So this is also what I do from my scraps. And sometimes, as for you who know me, or for you who don't know who I am, I like to sort of, I really enjoy making things out of something out of, scrap materials. I like to have some different tiny projects going for relaxation. mindfulness. You can actually take these and use it as a mindfulness because you just sit and do it. Um, like I also do something. I like to make rolls, paper rolls for my um baskets I make out of junk mail and old paper, um, pamphlets and stuff like that, and old wrapping paper. So, when I'm starting, that is also one thing I promised. As you can see, I got that bit done. Now I am going to take this in that direction, and then I am taking this and that, and the same here. Um, First of all, I am going around it like this. Oh, thank you, Tris. Yes, I like what you're doing too. You do a great job too. So what I'm actually doing is I'm taking it again round like this. I follow the edges, if you can see. I go like this, round and round. So I end up in the center part. And of course, I do cut to match if I have something who doesn't want to be perfect. So this is, so I start out to make, as you can see here, I have templates here. I have these are 5 x 5 centimeters. This is 10 by 10 centimeters squares like this. So I start up with these, and when I can't get one of this, I go down to 5.5 centimeters, and when I'm done with that and I can see I can't get any more and I'm left with these, normally I would cut them into these tiny leaves, but I have already now three um, boxes like this, stuffed with these leaves in colors. So now I'm simply just using them up for this type of scrap buster quilts, um, on an old blanket, to give it a new life. When I'm done with it, I am going to give it a backside, or you can just leave it as it because it's soft, but you can take an old bed sheet and put on the back like this, and then you can sort of quilt it in squares if you want that, or just leave it as it is on the back side and have this as a front. So, but I would take, I'm not even sure I am going to give it a backside. I don't know yet, but I can do it, and I can invisible quilt it with the same stitches because you can't see the thread, but I'm using. So, but you know what? Um, as we say in Denmark, that time, that soul. Oh yes, yeah, you need to go back to bed. I love you too, Tita. Thank you for coming to say hey. I love you. Have a good night's sleep. I'll call you later. I won't forget it. So, love you. Yeah, and you take care and say hey to Kira for me and your fur babies. And sometimes I'm taking a back stitch. So I need to have a little nature break. I don't know. Will you hang on, Tris? I'll be right back. I just need to go to the nature calling. Yeah, nature calling. I'll be back. Yeah, I can take a little more here. So just a minute. And I'll just have I forgot my coffee is cold, so I'll heat it up. I'll be fast back. Sorry. You can just, yeah. I'm back. I'm back on my bed. Ooh. So sit here, very quiet. Did you see the other one, Tris? I want to show you. Um, I don't know if you saw this one, Tris. I'll show you. I have seeing this. What I'm actually doing is I made this, and it is quite big. I'll lower you down here. This is also scrap buster kind of thing, where I sort of took all my scraps. I have a basket when I cut out for clothing or recycle. This is once upon a time, this was a maternity dress. Um, so it's, it has all sort of scraps into it. I show it in some of mine here. And as I told you, when I have bits and scraps like this, I cut out one of these. I could actually get two of these out of this. And then I sort of, when I get some scraps, I cut it down to pieces. Sometimes I get these long strips. I put them in one basket. The little squares I showed you, 5.5, and I simply just made it out like this. Some are wider. It's not symmetric. It doesn't matter. As you can see, some are wider, some have three small in one size and one big here, and sometimes this is not centered, but who cares, right? What I'm doing now is I am, as you can see, quilting each block, and for now I have actually there's 99 blocks like this, and there are 19 centimeters like this. That's how big they are, and there are 11 this direction and 9 in this direction. So it is a major, as you can see, it is pretty big. So that means it's over 2 meters in that direction, and it is 9 here, so it is, I counted 180 centimeters and more 1840 to 220 meters wide, and 185 on the short side. So, but what I have told myself now, I got 30 blocks ready quilted, so there are about 69 to go. So that's what I simply do every day. I told myself every day I need to take at least one of these, and if I do that, take that one a day, it will take me 3 months to do them all. So I told myself, okay, listen up. If I can, yesterday it was very wet and rainy, so I actually managed to get 4 blocks ready quilted yesterday. So I am a little ahead of schedule. Um, yeah. So, and that's why it is pretty heavy. So that's why I made myself this thimble out of very thick leather, because I can't work with these metallic one. Um, I have never been able to do it or find one that sort of wanted to stay on. So this is actually a medieval. These were made by tailors um, in the historic time. They made it out of thick leather. Oh, thank you. Hello, Deborah, and good morning. So it's like a very cheap, simple, yeah. So if you have a small piece of leather, you just put your finger on a paper and draw around and stitch around it. So you have a little thimble like this. Um, so I made also one for my thumbs, but this I use my middle finger, this one, to push with. Um, we were starting on the other project here, so I'll grab that back. Um, Here it is. We are here. As you can see, I got a row here, so I need to get. Of course, it is a good idea. I like to have my. It's just a plain wood board and on your bed on the floor. I like to sit in my bed because I have a very high bed, and that means I get the daylight from the window, but also because I like to be where Fiona is, and Fiona, like, she's grown up with me sewing, and she really enjoy when I'm sewing because she was little tiny. She has been the one that has sit on the pattern while I have been cutting, and she has been with me so much. So, and she really like us to just sit and enjoy when I'm in here. And I am sort of, sometimes I have my sing along book and I sing songs for her. Um, I like to sing for her, and it's like, so we have a great time, or I just, sit down, Tris, and just relax with an audiobook, or sometimes just, quiet. And what I am doing, I like to do. Yes, it is so wonderful to have fur babies. And sometimes Luna, the new little fur baby, she's coming in and hiding over there. I have made a secret place for her because Fiona don't like her. So, but we will manage like this. But I'm so sad that this. It is so good to see you. How are you, Deborah? I hope you are doing well, you and your family. And I lost the thread. So let's turn in that direction. I hope you can see what I'm doing, even if I have that circle going around. I don't hope this will be there when I upload. That's for sure. So yeah, just this is actually not so tough, so I don't need it. It's more when I, have to go through. You don't have the circle. Okay, I'm glad, but as you can see, I do have the circle in the middle of here. Maybe I should try to. I'll try to reboot my phone. Just a second. Okay, you okay? Oh, that sounds great. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, it helped me that I sort of rebooted it. So, and it was, let me see. No, it doesn't want to work. Yeah, I'm buffering, so it's not very stable, but it stopped buffering for me. Now I can see myself. It's because when I want you to see what I'm doing, I can't read the chat on the computer. So that's why I'm following here to keep an eye and track on the chat here on my phone. And I like to keep myself busy because I think it's very healthy for your brain and your mental health that you're sort of, doing something, and sometimes you just need to challenge yourself a little bit mentally, and just sit and relax, and you can actually sit and think at nada, as I say. Do nothing, think nothing, clear your brain. Or if you have something that is, keep popping into your mind and you need to have some distraction from it. And whenever I feel I can get rid of, all that busy thinking, and sometimes, you can have a buzzing brain that keep annoying you. Um, that is, then I simply just go and pick up some hand sewing, or sort of creative challenge me. Tita has just challenged me to make a scrap fabric roll. I have actually never tried to make one of these, so I will see if I can do that. Yeah, so I'll do that in a live stream. Take up that challenge. Um, to see what I can do. And then I want to take this one here, the longer one. I can use up my thread here. I think I'll take that one here. And I lost the thread here. So I might be buffering too much. So 5 more minutes. I can also see I need some power. You're not very focused. Oh, okay. You know what, Deborah? Sometimes you have days where you're not focused. Then just take care of you and sort of just relax. I have days too where I am not particularly focused on what I'm doing, and then I also take a break, and then I simply just grab a book and start reading or anything. So, yeah. So, when I am done with this one, almost done, and if it's very much fraying, I do like this, stitch around it in first row. You haven't been in your craft room for weeks now. Oh, you totally lost your inspiration. I'm sad to hear that. But there's so much with the weather and stuff like that going on. I think people have so many things, and I think it's better. I give up following. I mean all that politic and all what's going on. You are, I mean, bombarded with bad things every time. It's about, yeah, things, and you can't do anything. Yeah, you kind of lost. Um, I have days where I sort of also feel lost, but then I simply just take a good book or just sit down and you know uh, I don't know if I can explain. Sometimes I find a book to sort of get myself. It's very depressing. especially if you lose your creativity. And I had a very long period where I didn't know how to get started because it was simply too overwhelming. And then I sort of started just to cut out pieces. Found some old magazines. I started to fuzzy cut pictures and images out of, and just then I started to just sit and cut out these tiny little squares out of fabric. And I don't have an idea for what to do with them, but just that you sort of make a lot of these. And I said, yeah, always is great to have in hand, right? Because you can collect for a new quilt. And this is also one of the projects that is for every time I get my hands in a new fabric like this, I take one off like this. If I have more, I take only one. And that means I am starting in a box to, these are 5.5 centimeters. And that means I'm started to collect for a big quilt with only different. It has to be different. There's not two of these squares that is going to be the same material. And I have collected for about 3 years now. And hopefully not soon I have, because I like a big cozy king size, queen size quilts, something you can really snuggle into. So I hopefully will once upon a time get them stitched together or collected enough for have one of these quilts with, only one of these. So, and the same thing as I told you, I have these found a lot of tiny bits and pieces, and I simply took tin plate for these tiny leaves, as you saw on my memory lane here. My memory lane leaves here, and I had a little tin plate like this, and yeah, a cozy quilt. Yeah, a crazy quilt, exactly. And you simply just cut out and collect them. And this is also going to be what I call a crazy quilt. And as you can see, I have also these little jojos, or in Denmark we are calling them rosettes, like this here. As you can see, these I make these, and when I'm all done, I am going to sort of put these on strategically like this, so that gets some beautiful structure to it. So place them like this one there, and in different colors. Um, so and sometimes I just sit and make these. I think you call them yo-yos or something, right? Yo-yos, I think they're called. And that they are sort of made out of a circle like this, and I have a little bead to it, crazy things. And people, what are you going to do with them? I don't know, but I just need to start up busy Jojo. Yeah, thank you. Busy my brain, but I can't cope anything uh mentally demanding. So I simply start up to maybe just find a piece of fabric, cut them out in circles, and just cut circles. And sometimes, oh, I think I'll sit and make some jojos, and Yeah, okay, I can cut some squares, or if I found one of these, I'll sit and roll some paper. Um, but what, do something actually creative. It has been a while. I have sort of, collected for being creative, but I didn't have the sort of energy or the brain to start up a big project. So that's also why I like to have two or three different projects, especially with this scrap buster thing, quilt crazy, um, to get all my scraps used that I can't get a square out of. I could maybe make a lot of leaves. I could do whatever, but sometimes when I have enough. I think, okay, I do have enough of these um, leaves for it. As you can see, there's a stack of old fabric um, that I had, and as you can see, I save. Um, this is actually something that I had a guy that came, and I have shortened off a very heavy brocade cape. It has to be shortened up, and I have a lot of scraps like this that are too much fabric to sort of throw out, and it needed to be ripped up in the seam so it gets wider. So little crazy things you can do. It doesn't have to be productive, as I say, but something just to keep your mind busy. You can do that, but it is horrible when you can't do crafting stuff. Um, I just did this one. This is actually a very old container for hair conditioner, and I needed something to store my needles into it. I can still smell the perfume from the hair conditioner. And then I took some of this vinyl plastic and took on. And as you can see, again, some of these little fabric leaves are sort of put in shower flower shapes. So, yeah, so that's it for today. But I hope you got a little inspired, and don't worry, Deborah, you will hopefully come back to be crafting. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, I had a little face like this. I am going to stitch it on my blanket here. Yeah, yeah, I don't want to overwhelm you, Deborah. For me, I want you to just, don't start any project. um just ignore all these, and you think, oh, I should make this. No, don't. Let your brain rest and do maybe some things that you don't have to use your brain to. I mean, who says you have to make some crafting? Oh, thank you. So it's like, I have people who said, why don't you make some handbags? Why don't you make? And I said, you know what? I'm not up to making stuff like that right now. I'm not. No, So I just make items for crafting. Cutting out some pictures, ripping off some magazines for some paper mache or whatever. Um, taking out a box of scrap fabric and sort them in colors. That's fine for me. I spent about 2 weeks where I sort of, yeah, do your thing. I mean, it's like don't let anybody tell you what to do. Just do it when you feel to do it. Grab a book. I can remember I told you in one of my quilt and chat, and I said, you know what? The best part is one day, if it's so overwhelming, do as I do. Sit down and look outside the window and do nothing. Because it is also healthy for your brain not to do anything. Just relax, listen to relaxing music, don't do anything, let the day pass. There was a very famous actress. She said, "How could you?" She could keep so mentally. I mean, and she said, "You know what? The best is, it is every 2 times a week. She took a day off and just sat down and did nothing and just let the day pass." And I think sometimes you should think about it because we live in such a busy world that we are bombarded with a lot of things. I mean, you are too overwhelmed. So yeah, I enjoy your old videos and I am so happy to see you here and you're doing okay. And you know what? That's the best part of it. Right? Not how much you have been crafting or not. You're here. Yeah, you know what? I have to give up to that too, Deborah. That's why I stopped. I mean, because I can't pass it. I mean, I really can't afford all that things that require to sort of do their crafts. Um, I mean, I like to watch, but I can assure you I'm quiet. Oh, yeah, me me too. I go in and I give them a thumbs up and I think, "Oh my God, I can't afford that because I can't pass it." I mean, and when they say, "Look at that haul," I can't afford it. And so that's why I simply stopped. I can't do that. Um, really. It's overwhelming. I can't do that, and it's frustrating. And I they keep saying to me, "Why don't you blah blah?" And I say, "I can't afford it." Uh, so you know what? I simply stopped. No, I can't develop in that direction and join them. And I don't have any Michaels or any very expensive crafting things, you know. I really more like, recycle, upcycle, give old stuff new life. Um, use what I have. I mean, that's how I grow up, and I'm afraid that's how it will be. Um, as you can see, I made this for Fiona. I'll show you. I made this for Fiona. Her Here it is. As you can see, here is her unicorn. This is her unicorn. I'll take you over here and show you. This I actually made the progress for, as you can see here. I would really like to make her a unicorn scratch pole like this, but oh my goodness, have you any idea the cost of that rope? I mean, I couldn't afford that. And I was, okay, you know what? I have a lot of fabric scraps. So I started sort of cut it into yarn, in thin stripes. Then I simply did that. I have actually crocheted, uh, you know, um, I don't know what you call it, but this long, long row of, you just crochet up like this. This is actually made out of my old sweater. And then it got some yarn, and the stuffing is old fabric. This is an old pole I just made it to. So as you can see, it's scrappy, but that's how I do crafting. I like that. So yeah, I'll take you with me inside, because I need to put some power on here. So no, we can't just occupied in there, but it has been so great. I'm just standing here because um it is time for me. It is, I don't know what you call it, but it is 1640. That means it's, yeah, you too. And you're welcome. Yeah. And you know what? It was so nice to see you too, Deborah. And don't worry, just relax. I hope I'll see you again in another project. It is time for me to make evening's dinner. It is late now, and it is early for you. And I surely hope you will have a great day too, right? And please promise you to take care of you, and I hopefully see you. Sending prayers and blessings. So, love you. See you, and you're welcome. And thank you for joining me. Yeah, love you always. And please stay safe.